All right, one of the good things about these programs, Python, R is very similar, is they have packages. They have special things you can install that somebody else has created that can give you access to different data or give you different kinds of things to look at. And so what we're going to do is we're at least going to introduce you to some of these Python packages. Make this a little bigger. There we go. Some of these Python packages, and when you install this through Anaconda, there are going to be a number of packages that are pre-installed in Python. For the installed packages, every script you write, you need to import them into your script area. Again, you call it your live session, right? So when you close out of Spider and then open it back up, it doesn't mean that a package is now live, right? So every time you start something, you've got to constantly be updating it or importing this. So you have to import them into your script. And you'll see this in all the scripts that I write, that when I'm bringing in a package, you'll always see an import element. After you import the package, the added elements from the package are now available. So you got to figure out what the package name is, and you need to use the import command. And you can import it as an abbreviated. So some of these packages have some longer names. If you wanted to import it and call it something else, it's a way to kind of cut down on the amount of code that you're writing. Also, you want to be consistent with any code that you write. So if you import a package and call it NP, then every other script that you write afterwards, you'll want to be consistent. So it's all based on what you want to bring these in. So once you determine the package name and you then use the import command. If you want to find out which packages are installed, then run a command called pip list, right? And we'll do that right now. So we're going to do pip and then list, okay? And what this is going to do is it's going to give me a list of everything that I've got in here, and it'll show up in my console here. So I'm going to run this line, and it's going in and looking all the things that I've saved. And these are all the packages that came preloaded. I have added a few, but that's okay. All the different, what do all these things do? I don't know. Are there things in here that you might want to use? Maybe. But for me, I'm just going to go with kind of basic blocking and tackling things that are going to help me get the job done. So some of these things you might find interesting and want to investigate more. You should. But for me, I'm going to probably keep a probably small portfolio of packages that I'm going to use and stay with those, right? And as I get better at this and I find new things or new packages that are going to do different things, I might bring those in. So one of the packages that we're going to use, and so I think it has been based on my learning of Python, it's I think a pretty fundamental package for computing. It's called NumPy, or everything you see py, that's Python, right? So, and NumPy is one of the fundamental packages for scientific computing. It contains lots of interesting functions for multidimensional arrays. And linear algebra. We're not going to do linear algebra in this class, but and we're probably going to do a little bit with this package, but it's a good package to introduce you to at this point, that you've already been exposed to creating a variable, then creating a list, and then creating a dictionary. Now we're going to, instead of a single line of data, we may end up seeing an array of data. If it's not in your list here, and it's in my list, I can scroll down here and I can see it, right? NUMPY. If it's not in your list, then you want to install it. Right? And the way to do that is you can conda install NUMPY. That will install it. If you want to, if it's already in there and you want to import it into this script, it's import NUMPY as, and you'll see most people abbreviate this as NP. So whenever you are doing any kind of writing in functions that are numpy, however you pronounce it, functions, it's usually going to be abbreviated NP versus typing out the full NUMPY. So I've already got it installed, so I don't have to do this, so I'll import it. And now it's imported, it's now live and available in my workspace. So when you're, and I'm just going to just type this in, this is the kind of the reason why we are defining it as NP. So when you refer to using NUMPY and defining it as NP, you need to use NP when you are typing your script. Okay? You just got to do that. So let's create our first NumPy array. How fun is that going to be? So we're going to create a new NumPy array. X is going to be our array. And so we're going to create it np.array. So array is the function that exists within NumPy. And we put this in brackets, and we're going to create a 2x2 array. So the first thing is we're going to create the full array, and then I'm going to have an array within an array. So I'm going to have the first set of numbers be 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And then I'm going to put in a comma, and then I'm going to put in another kind of array, another list, but this is going to be the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Okay? So what this is going to do is it's not just going to give me a list of numbers, it's going to give me a really different type of piece of information. So we're going to hit run that line. We're in our variable view, and what you see is I've got an array that it's a 2 by 5. 2 by 5. All right? So what this is, 2 by 5, the first number you see when you're looking at anything that has that's an array or it's a table, the first number here is row. So I have 2 rows and I have 5 columns, right? And you can see that right here when looking at the array. And if I wanted to call this out and have it show up in my console, I'll just type X, run that line, and you can see here's the array right here. Right? So it's a 2 by 5 array. So and that's just a NumPy array. Now there's other packages that can be used. So SciPy is also used for scientific computing. Matplotlib lib is used for plotting variables. Pandas is used for reading in data, data manipulation, and preparation. And we'll probably use pandas quite a bit because we have a lot of data to read in. And there are potentially many more packages that exist out there. And these packages might be able to do the exact same thing that NumPy can do, or Pandas can do, or SciPy can do. It really is up to you to determine which package in Python you want to use. You know, if you want to install a new package or upgrade an existing package, you can, try to install and put the upgrade in there. And I'll show you a different way of doing that. So if you want to install a new package or upgrade an existing package, use pip install and then the new package name. Since we're doing this with Conda, I'd like to use Conda install and then the package name. And if you want to upgrade a package, you still have to use pip install. I haven't been able to figure out how to get Conda to work, and then upgrade, and then the package name to upgrade. All right, so these are all just different ways to do this. So if I wanted to upgrade, if I wanted to get the latest version of NumPy, I'm going to do pip install upgrade NUMPY. We'll see if that works. We'll run this. And you notice before I had version of NumPy in here, I had 1.203. Okay? This is still working. And you can tell this is working when you see this little red box here. It means it's working. So now if I did get my pip list, and let's see if it was an actual upgrade to my NumPy. 1.21.5, right? So I obviously got a little bit of an upgrade because my previous one was one. That doesn't. It only goes back so far. So I obviously, I think it's a little bit of an upgrade. So you might want to upgrade packages that kind of get naturally installed. I don't think there's really anything crazy in there. Well, what if you find a package that you really like, or you're interested in data that you would like to get access to? So if you are interested in other packages, or you've just got a question, how can I get something? And I'll give you an example. Simply do a Google search for the data that interests you and install the package. For example, I am always interested in sports data. I had the opportunity to teach a sports analytics class last summer. It was awesome. I really enjoyed that one. So I tend to use, up until this quarter, I've always used R as the way I do my programming, and found all sorts of stuff. So I wanted to find out whether or not there's any sports data using Python. So I found PY baseball package. I found it. I was pretty excited about that. So I wanted to install that. So to install the new package, again, there's two ways to do it. You can either use the pip method or the conda method, right? So, I'm going to see if I can try it with conda, and if it doesn't work, then I'll do it with the pip method. So here is the conda script. Okay, so it is conda install py baseball. All right, we'll see if that works. Oh, there I go. I'll pause this while we wait for this to work. Oh, it just worked. All right, and it looks like, let's see. Looks like it did everything that I wanted. Following packages are not available in the current channels. All right, so it didn't like that. So I'm going to just try putting in pip install py baseball and see if that way of installing it works. Looks like they were able to find it. So it looks like I've already installed it before. So clearly I needed to use the pip install versus the conda. So some of this stuff is able to be loaded through Anaconda, and some of it is not. So you have to start with the Anaconda install method, and if not, then go to the pip install method.